Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here at Earth and Sky. Each of you online, we really appreciate your likes and sharing out our videos. It means a lot to us. And we are really excited because we're going to be bringing back our Wednesday What segment again. And with the Wednesday What segment, we're going to be talking about a specific crystal each week and the properties of that crystal and how you can use it in your life. Did you know you can use crystals in your life?
I've been told you can use crystals in your life. Yes, by you.
There are so many different things we can use rocks, crystals, minerals, and gems for in our life. The reason they were coveted by royalty and the reason you see them in the crowns and in the breastplates of the priests and on swords and all of the important things of royalty is because they had a lot of properties. It wasn't just to show wealth.
I always thought it was just like these colors go well, or these go with my family crests or whatever.
Yeah, no, they're very
there's
specific
a reason for them.
with each gemstone. And back in the day, hundreds of years ago, actually not that long ago, people didn't want to talk about their feelings. It was very faux pas to express yourself verbally in different ways.
That's so different from today.
And they had these beautiful subtle languages that they would express things. And sometimes it was the meaning of a stone would convey, including in the crown, what the representation is. Just like on the flags, every color on a flag has a symbology, a meaning behind it.
Right.
And flowers was another way that people would often convey if they gave you a forget-me-not or a rose and what color it was. There was a whole vocabulary, entire stories that could be told through things.
Natural things, colors, and things. That's awesome. Okay.
And I've loved that symbology since I was very young.
You are very symbolic.
I remember when I was a wee one, maybe 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, yes.
And I was looking through the address book that my parents had, and it had on the front page what the birthstones were and what stones or items to give for certain anniversaries and what the meaning was of each of those.
Oh, neat.
I thought that was really fascinating.
That's very cool.
It might have helped with beginning my journey into crystals and stones.
Maybe.
I do remember when I bought my very first stone ever, and it was a tiger's eye. It was at this little shop on 7th Street in Phoenix, Arizona. I believe it was called the Enchanted Forest, and it was just this magical shop with everything you could possibly need magically. That's what this is.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
It was a small tumbled stone, not a pie stone, but the same stone.
Nice.
And there's so much, I feel like oftentimes you can read stories into stones through the patterns that they have as well. And the tiger's eye, when it shifts in the light, you can really see different components come out.
Absolutely.
Like this strong strip of iron that's so pronounced.
And when it literally looks like a tiger's eye, it's so beautiful, and all of the striations and the...
It does. Yeah. It's so mesmerizing. Absolutely. It still is one of my favorite stones. It's definitely in my top 3 of favorite stones.
Awesome.
And through that journey, through that starting with that one tiger's eye that I prized, and I later put it in a medicine bag and just was very important to me. Through that, I started falling in love with many other stones. And then over the years, learning to listen to the stones and hearing them talk to me. And you've had a couple of stones talk to you as well.
I've had one that really did, and that was the first time that it I was so surprised that it really jumped out at me and was it was very odd. It was actually surprising because to me, stones have always been crystal stones, all of them. They're just, they're pretty, but
Yeah. Are you referencing the deep amethyst that was on the stand? That was the very first one I remember talking to you. We have that on our mantle, a very beautiful deep amethyst.
I liked that one. I didn't think that one really talked to me. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. No, I was thinking of the one that somebody had purchased from you, and then they brought it back, and they were just like, I wasn't ready for it, and that kind of a thing, and so they brought it back, and I just was like, it was just, I saw it, I just went, oh my God, that is so talking to me. So, yeah.
Beautiful, yeah. So it might have been coming back to you specifically.
Yeah, or something, I don't know, but it really did talk to me, it was just a big surprise. So.
Fantastic. Yeah. And it's wonderful to utilize stones, to not just have them sitting out somewhere, but to utilize them and have them be healing partners with you in life. And so for some, the way you can work with them is simply having them displayed, and then as you walk by them, think of the energy that's there, or say thank you to the stones. They have energy and an essence within them that gratitude then sparks the energy within the stone to assist it in helping you more.
Well, so, and like we just got back from our buying trip to restock our crystal center. And so when you were talking about the crystals, I'm really excited to find out like what some of the new ones do that we got. So
yes, yeah, we had many new. I believe it's about 550 pounds worth of crystals and rocks that we're bringing back.
A pallet.
Yes, exactly. That's on its way back to us now.
Yes.
And there were some new ones that I'll be so excited to share in the Wednesday segment for all of that and what the traits are. And I did bring a few of them in front of us today that we can talk a little bit about.
Just high level.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice.
And the ways that you can work with them. Really, crystal grids are one of my favorite ways of working with crystals.
You use those a lot.
Absolutely. And we're going to soon be starting doing gridding around people as well. So when they want to come in, we can make them the center of the grid and create a crystal grid around you so you can really draw in and feel that energy as partners in healing with the crystals.
Nice.
One of the stones we have for that is quartz and selenite. Selenite looks a lot like clear quartz.
Okay.
It's a white colored stone. And we have many heart-shaped selenite pieces that will be a part of that gridding around people.
Nice.
It's a wonderful way to restore balance within the body.
Okay.
My favorite of all the crystals is
quartz, always.
Of course. Clear quartz especially.
Now, I was going to say, now this doesn't look like a lot of the quartz that you usually like the most, I've found. You usually like the stuff that is closer to like glass. It's just completely see-through and so clear and stuff. But this has a really interesting kind of speckle or like a shatter look in it.
Exactly, and lots of lineations. This is would be considered like a ladder that goes up in here. You can see all these straight lines that go across and phantoms in it. And there's also quite a bit of iron in this one too. You can see all of that iron that is that orange color in here. And the iron makes this a hematoid quartz instead of just simply clear quartz. Hematoid quartz is amazing for helping with arthritis.
Now wait, so quartz in and of itself has its own properties. So if you add in the shatter look to it, does that change kind of the properties that you get out of it?
It does.
And if they have different, like the iron, they would be what, impurities? Is that what kind of?
Yeah, impurities is a common word for it. And what the impurities do is they then add in more properties. So you get not only the properties of the quartz itself, but also the properties of the iron or the magnesium. For example, with lavender quartz is rose quartz that has a little bit more lavender, deeper purple color that comes into it. And that purple color comes in when the rose quartz is from Madagascar. In certain areas, there's higher levels of magnesium. So you not only get the properties of the rose quartz, which is assisting with self-love and compassion and being kind to yourself and being able to love yourself so you can feel love from others. But that higher level of magnesium brings in a lot of deeper health components. It can help with the heart. It can help with your energy. It decreases your pain levels. It decreases anxiety.
And so like, because when you said the iron, like I thought of it as an impurity, like not great necessarily. But when you're saying, so like the reason it's pink is because of impurities.
Yeah.
So the different colors, so impurities is basically just different chemicals is all that means.
Exactly.
So it's not really a negative thing. It's just a difference in chemistry.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting.
And that same thing is what causes us to be able to have things like beautiful amethyst. A lot of people prize amethyst.
Oh, yeah, of course.
There are 4 precious stones in the world: sapphire, amethyst, ruby, and emerald.
Okay.
The only reason those are considered precious stones instead of semi-precious is because the jewelers convention many years ago had decided they were going to list those 4 so that they could bring them up into the selling level of diamonds.
Oh.
And so they wanted to kind of compete with that. And they
Okay.
said everything else is going to be considered semi-precious.
Okay.
Whether it's gem quality or not is irrelevant to
Okay.
it being a precious
So
stone
if you
or
have
not.
a perfect quartz, it's still semi, no matter what the clarity levels, carat size, whatever.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
And so this amethyst would be a precious stone. It might not be gem quality through all of it,
Right.
but it's still a precious stone.
Interesting.
It's really interesting. I went to a jeweler's lecture when we were in Nova Scotia and
Nice.
on the cruise.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating to learn quite a bit
That's
about
so
the origins
interesting.
of that.
Now, I remember a correlation between this and quartz.
Yes, so amethyst is a type of quartz. So where you were saying the impurities
Right.
can be brought in, whatever's in the earth around it as quartz is growing. This grew out of a cave in Brazil, and these actually jut out of the cave walls in this like spectacular formation, and then they break them off as the cave
that's
wall.
amazing.
And but the reason that it's not clear is because of impurities that are in
Okay.
that cave. The
Okay.
way the crystal grows causes this beautiful deep purple color to come in, and it is just spectacular.
Now, are you saying that an amethyst is a quartz?
Quartz, yes,
That's just quartz.
it is,
But colored.
with the impurities
With
of the
impurities to make
earth
it.
that add more properties.
And then they named it a new thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so, for example, with clear quartz, I often think of clear quartz as like a wishing crystal because you can use it for anything. You can program it for anything that you want.
Interesting.
They've actually done a lot of work with programming quartz for computers to be able to save data on quartz because it has a
interesting.
high capacity for that. You can save, they have this quarter-sized piece of quartz that they've actually recorded the Holy Bible on, the Declaration of Human Rights, the Magna Carta, and I
Wow.
believe there were 2 other things
Wow.
on a quarter-sized piece of
enormous
quartz.
amount of data.
And it only used a tiny fraction of that piece
what
of
it
quartz.
could do.
And the
Yeah.
reason they did that was because their hope is that if humanity dies out at some point, an alien civilization would be able to have a way to read the data that was on the quartz and then
interesting.
understand what was important in general to a lot of humans
Yeah.
that are here.
Interesting.
And we have not yet, with our technology, figured out how to extract that data out of the
Right,
quartz, unless
right.
you're psychic. But they are working on that as well because that could revolutionize the speed with which we are able to, and the size, that we can use
that's a
for
lot.
memory chips.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Computers, phones, all of that
Yeah,
stuff. And I think of it as the wishing crystal because you can program anything into it, whether it's technically through transliteration of documents or whether you hold that quartz and you think of what you want the properties to be in it and what you want it to help you with. And then amethyst or citrine or rose quartz, any of the colors of quartz where it brings in different properties, those minerals that have come in to shift the color for amethyst makes it have a different property. So this
Right.
brings in like a very motherly love, an unconditional love, a bit different than rose quartz, and a lot of protection that comes in with amethyst as
Interesting.
opposed to the clear quartz.
So interesting. So, okay. And what else do we have? I'm excited now.
And one other type of quartz that I have up here is a golden healer. This is actually a pretty rare form of quartz.
Okay.
And this it has a lot of iron content and I believe some other minerals. I can't think of it right off the top of my head.
But
a lot of people would think this was citrine at first glance
I was wondering.
because citrine has a pale yellow color to it.
Right.
And sometimes they will enhance, they'll heat treat amethyst actually to give it a really deep yellow color, but it's not natural
But
when
it's
they
not-
do
right,
that.
right.
But that heat will shift the purple into that yellow.
Interesting.
And this is actually, it comes up, you can see all of the impurities that are pretty deep with
Yeah,
that
yeah.
real rust color kind of coming out in parts of it.
Nice.
And this is one of the most powerful crystals for healing, for helping others to heal when there are really significant issues in the physical fabric of the human. This can really help pull some of those out.
Now, is citrine also another version of quartz in its natural state? That's actually like the amethyst.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, exactly.
All right.
And some of those other minerals come up and it shifts that. And so you can see through here, I'm not sure if you can tell online, but there's a band where it looks very clear through
We can
here.
put the picture on.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
So there's a band that's very clear. You can see it coming white at the top,
Yep.
and it's much darker towards the bottom where it was starting to really pull those minerals up that were in the
Interesting.
soil there.
Interesting.
And so it shifts. It brings in other properties, and it shifts what properties
But
we
you're-
receive from
yeah,
that crystal.
okay. That's amazing. So every single, so now there are things that are not quartz, correct?
Exactly. And so one of these examples, this was an ammonite, and
Nice.
the ammonite is a crustacean. This would have been from between the Jurassic and the Cretaceous period.
Yeah.
They're not sure exactly where it is in
right.
there, but in Morocco, this would be somewhat similar to a snail. You can see it kind of does look like
Yeah,
the
it
snail
totally has
shell
a snail
here.
shell, yeah.
And this is a fossilized crustacean. And this one, you can see it's a little bit more rare where you can see some of the pockets
Yeah.
of the crystallization
That's amazing.
in there. And so this has different properties. This is amazing for helping with arthritis. This is amazing for helping to both start a new project if somebody's wanting to work on something and they're trying to figure out all the details. This is the type of mineral or stone, not really fossil.
Fossil, yeah.
Fossil that you would use to both get your idea into scope, to see the little details, and also to be able to blow up and see the big details, the big picture of what it is you need to see. It's great for bringing in wisdom as well, this type of stone, this type of fossil.
Nice. So now on the Wednesday so like when you're going to do all of the much more detailed aspects of each one that you're doing each week, are you going to give people like, are you going to tell them like you should put it in your bathwater or put it in under your pillow, or giving them specific
Ways to
things
use
they
it.
can do? Yeah,
Yes.
specific things to use it with.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
We're going to
all
have
right.
a lot of fun with that so that you
Interesting.
can know how to work with the stones, crystals, and fossils that you have to become working partners with you.
Nice.
So they can go from just being pretty to actually helping you in your life.
Yeah,
My
interesting.
favorite way is with crystal grids. Of course, crystal
course,
grids are
yes.
so powerful and incredible, but there are some crystals that are amazing to meditate with where you put one in one hand and one in another hand,
Nice.
and you can actually feel this current of energy that cycles through your body and vibrates and purifies and
Nice.
cleanses and
Nice.
inspires. And yes, some of them will talk about going under your bed or different things, having
Okay.
certain ones in the car. We're going to give you so many fun tips in our Wednesday What series coming up.
I'm all excited.
Yes.
So, and are there any other ones that you want to share?
I think that's it for right now because we're going to save a lot of the details
'Cause I'm
for our Wednesday
Geeked.
What
I'm
segment.
geeked for Wednesday. What? So I hope you like this video. If you do, please hit the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe. And also remember to go to our website, earthandskycenter.com. All of our classes. Definitely we'll have crystal classes and crystal grid classes and stuff coming up, I think, here pretty soon.
And one other fun and exciting announcement
Yes.
is that I will be teaching in Japan in March of 2026.
Nice.
So if anybody is interested in a fun and incredibly powerful, deep spiritual transformation, you might want to start putting that on your calendar and
Save
getting
the
your head ready to come along with us. It's going to be an amazing journey teaching Reiki over there.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Have a great week, everyone.